Hello, BookTube, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. The past several weeks, I've been a little bit repetitive on these weekly reading vlogs. Every week, I talk about how incredibly busy I've been. Now, I didn't really have much time to read. And yeah, this week, once again, I've been incredibly busy, and I haven't had much time to read. I'm still working the same insane schedule that I've been working for the past several weeks. The good news is the end is in sight. From this week, I've dropped one class, so I'll be a little bit less busy. In 2.5 weeks, I'll be able to drop another class, so I'll be a little bit less busy after that. But none of that applies to this week I've just gotten through. That has been really busy. So this week I was just looking at my page counts, and yeah, 18. 18 pages is what I'm up to this week. All from the Wayfarer Redemption, page 26 to 44. It's a record low for me. I've never done a weekly reading vlog with that low of a page count. Although granted, I've only been doing these for just slightly over a year now, so you know. But anyways, yeah, let me talk about a few things. I'll get to this at the end. In spite of being insanely busy this week, I did have one day where I needed to take off some time after. Sorry, one day where I needed to take some time off of work. Stumbling over my own words as always. I did have one day where I needed to take some time off of work, and that was. Sorry, I thought I had something on my mouth there. That was because I had to go to the U.S. Embassy to get a document legalized. Sorry, not U.S. Embassy, U.S. Consulate. The embassy is in Hanoi. In Ho Chi Minh City, there's a consulate. I needed to get a document legalized as part of the application for the renewal of my work permit, and the work permit obviously needed to be renewed or I couldn't be employed, so it was something unavoidable. So I was working in the morning. I was in the central area of Ho Chi Minh City in the morning. I had the appointment in the U.S. consulate in the afternoon, and then between the morning and the afternoon, I had a few hours free, in which I went to Book Street and got some books and did a video. Talk about the video first. Video is part of my ongoing series to just document the interesting parts around Ho Chi Minh City. I've been living in Ho Chi Minh City for 7 years now, but only within the past few months have gotten the idea to make little mini videos about points of interest. So this time around, I did the famous Notre Dame Cathedral, not the one in Paris, but the one in Saigon. It was they started building it in 1860, finished building it in 1880. I've looked this up since I shot the video. So there's that. I did get at least one video shot this week. I will link to that video in the description down below if you want to check it out. Yeah, the making the video. The last little travel log video I made, or the last video I made showing off a piece of Ho Chi Minh City, was Walking Street. And I watched that video after I filmed it, and I was disappointed, disheartened to see how terrible the screen work was. It was shaking all over. Stuff was on angles, not a clear focus. So I was really trying to do better this time around. But when I put the video onto the computer and I watched it, it's not great. The camera seemed tilted for much of the time. I thought I was holding it level, but somehow it must have gotten tilted. I think that was especially during the parts while I was walking. I just need to concentrate on holding the camera more level when I'm walking. Although, yeah, truth be told, even when I'm perfectly still, I think I've got trouble just holding my hands steady when I'm using the phone. They tend to shake a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know. So, apologies, and apologies for any subpar videos that get filmed in the future. My philosophy with these things are um, just might as well just keep doing it. Good video, bad video, just try something and see what happens. So I don't know why I can't shoot a steady video, but I'll try to do better next time. And for whatever it's worth, my video, The Cathedral, is there. The Cathedral is right next to Book Street. Book Street, I've filmed a video on a few weeks back, which I'll also link to in the description down below. So I went down Book Street initially just to browse, but if something catches your eye, I'm always open to buying it. I've actually bought a lot of books recently, and have been showing them off on this weekly reading vlog series as part of like a little mini book haul. Given how slow my reading has been, I'm probably buying way too many books. I don't know if I'm ever going to get through the books I've already bought. I really have no business buying new books. Um, but the thing is, books are hard to come by in Vietnam. No, that's not entirely true. There are books, but specific books are hard to come by in Vietnam. So if you're walking down and you see a book in a used book sale, then you just better buy it because it won't be there next week. And so even if it's something you think, well, I don't have time to read that now, but I might read that within the next year or the next 2 years, been wanting to get around with that, then you should just buy it. Yeah, a perfect example of this. The last time I was on Book Street, they had Lonesome Dove there. And I was thinking, been meaning to get around to that. Lots of people have been recommending it, but it was a huge book, and I thought I don't have enough room in my reading list right now. And then, of course, you walk away, and then you think to yourself, I should have bought that. I really want to read Lonesome Dove one of these days. And then I went back on Thursday, and sure enough, it was gone. But some other books did catch my eye. These are the three I got from Book Street this time around, so I'll go through these briefly. The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. So as you can see, this is an illustrated version, and it looks like a children's book. And I guess it is. I mean, the Jungle Book is a children's book. With some of these versions, though, they could be like a simplified version for younger children. And that was initially what I was worried that this one was. But I checked through it, and it is the original text. I mean, it's got some very nice illustrations here, but it's the original text. Actually, as luck would have it, in that very same used bookstore, there was another copy of the Jungle Book. This one was like a smaller paperback, and I compared the two texts, and this is the original. So the Jungle Book I actually read way back when I was in middle school. I think it was the summer between 7th and 8th grade. Possibly it was the summer between 6th and 7th grade. I don't remember. I do remember I had it up at summer camp with me. Although the version I read was not the Jungle Book, it was the Jungle Books. So there are two Jungle Books. There's the first Jungle Book, and then there's the second Jungle Book. And some publishers have put them together as the Jungle Books, and that involves rearranging the stories a little bit to put them in chronological order and putting all the Mowgli stories together and all the other stories at the back, because if you're familiar with the Jungle Books or the Jungle Book, you know that the Mowgli story is only half of it, and then there are various short stories about different animals like seals here at the back. But it's all the same stories. It's just in a different order. I've been thinking for a while now that I'm due to reread The Jungle Book or The Jungle Books. I was thinking I would do them separately, the first Jungle Book and the second Jungle Book. The second Jungle Book wasn't at the bookstore this week, but this one was. I'm also a sucker for nice illustrations. Um, why not? And this seemed to be very beautifully illustrated. So I don't know when I'll get around to this. This will be a reread, of course, because, like I said, I read this in my youth, but I'm overdue for a reread of it. The other one is The Princess Bride. Everyone knows the movie The Princess Bride, or at least everyone of my generation, I'm sure, knows the movie. I'm not sure if the younger kids today still watch it. I saw this movie so many times in middle school that I just got sick of it. Like I was to the point where I did not want to hear this movie ever again, not want to see that movie ever again. But I've been curious about the book for some time now. I was reading on Wikipedia that the framing story in the movie is a grandfather reading to his grandson. I had picked up on Wikipedia or somewhere that the framing story in the novel was he was pretending to abridge a book, but that it didn't actually exist, and so he was just talking about how he was abridging a larger book. I remember seeing this in an airport once years ago and flipping through it and thinking it looked interesting but not buying it. And then I've been regretting that ever since. So when I saw it in the used bookstore, I just thought, I'll buy it. It could be fun. And then Book of Greek Myths here, a children's book. Not much to say about this one. I read a lot of these types of books when I was in middle school. I'm just realizing just now that all three of these are tied to my middle school days in one way or the other. And I'm thinking, I know all these stories, but I'm thinking this would be a separate video. But I was thinking about making a project on the Greek myths, which would include both the original classics like the Iliad, which is in this apartment here, but also just any kind of retelling. If I get around to that, that'll be a separate video. So that is my book haul from Book Street. I've got one more because this one's not from Book Street. This one's from the library. Terry Pratchett, the Discworld graphic novels. So, and as you can see, it's a graphic novel here. This is The Color of Magic and The Light Fantastic. So two different graphic novels in one binding. The Color of Magic I've read, not the comic book, but the original novel. The Light Fantastic I never got around to. I was dipping in and out of those Discworld books in and out of order. I plan to read them all someday, when I get around to it. But in the meantime, I don't think there's any harm in doing the comic book first. With my memory, by the time I get around to reading the real book, it won't be a spoiler because I'll have forgotten it or will only vaguely remember it. Speaking of which, I only vaguely remember The Color of Magic. So, I think I remember who the characters are, but I don't remember much about the plot. So yeah, this should be interesting to do. I think I've been thinking that I want to get more into graphic novels in this next year. I'm fortunate enough to work at a school where I have access to them in the library, and I've not done a lot of graphic novels in this channel, but I'd like to start doing more for a few reasons. But I guess one reason is the more stressed I get, the more I like to revert to rather, entertainment from my youth. This particular graphic novel isn't from my youth, but graphic novels in general were something I was, I was a huge comic book geek when I was young. So the fun of reading comic books again, which I haven't done for years, but I'm feeling the urge to get back into it. Partly because I've noticed so many other booktubers have been doing it. Middle-aged booktubers at that. So I figured, okay, well, there's no shame in it. I should give this a go. Okay, so these are my book hauls. 3 from Book Street, 1 from the library. Just another quick note, promissory note. I still have to do reviews of The Magic of Oz by L. Frank Baum and Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass. This, again, is something I just did not have time for this week. It's been a couple weeks now. So I think actually I may just start rereading this just so it's fresh in my mind, because a few weeks have gone by since when I finished this and now, and who knows when I'm going to have time to do the review. Not tomorrow, not today. Going to be a few more days. The Magic of Oz as well. So that, I don't know. Rereading this could pop up for next time. But yeah, the Wayfarer Redemption. I only got 18 pages of this read. So I don't really have a lot to say. I mentioned last week that I was getting a bit of Game of Thrones vibes from this. And that has only just increased. There's a king who hasn't produced an heir, and there's talk of all the fighting that is going to happen when he dies. In addition to what I mentioned last week, which was there's this threat of like these frost demon type creatures coming down from the snowy north, which is overshadowing everything. And then there was lots of different rivalries being set up and romances. There's a bit of a cheesy romance vibe in some of these passages, I think. Yeah, sorry, I was looking for a passage just now to illustrate it. Describing yeah, I don't know. Bit of a cheesy romance vibe, I guess. I'll leave it at that. All that being said, despite the fact that I only got 18 pages read of this, I am really enjoying this. It's a pity that I'm not going to be able to continue with the series because this is the only book I have out here in Vietnam. But yeah, well, at the very least, I'll be able to enjoy this book. So yeah, so I'll just leave it at that for this week. Sorry, it's not been much reading to report on, but we'll see how the next week goes. Like I said, I've already lost one class, so I'll be a little bit freer. I still have the 2 kids at home, which makes it difficult to, film a lot of YouTube videos or get a lot of stuff done. But maybe I'll be a little bit more active on this channel this coming week, and then in a few weeks I should be dropping another class. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, if I'm more active, you'll see it on this channel. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.